told me I'm a stumble. God told me I'm a young king. Rumble, lion, rumble. We can tussle if you wanna. I'd rather hit the hustle. All my homies call me coach. I'm the leader of the huddle. Lifted by the hand of God. I'm just a piece inside the puzzle. A piece without a muzzle. Try to lead them out the struggle. You believe it when you see it. My demons start to shudder. Hey, tell them get to stepping. Boy, don't make me pull this weapon. Go.
I told that Bible, y'all told that steel. I don't need your money weapons, cause I spiritually kill. Hey, I told that Bible, y'all told that steel. I don't need your worldly weapons, cause I spiritually kill. Spiritually kill, spiritually kill. I don't need your worldly weapons, cause I spiritually kill. Spiritually kill, spiritually kill. I don't need your worldly weapons, cause I spiritually kill.
Sick and tired of being sick and tired. Sick of y'all being victimized. Your weaknesses ain't enterprise. Time for a new revolution. And freedom got the resolution. We gon' build those blank up and thank God for the retribution. Hit the light in the head. Yeah, you heard what I said. Bible on me like lead. Y'all answering prayers. What's going on, family? Listen. This is Dr. Tayler Jacobs. Welcome to the Back End Podcast, where we talk about the things that need to be talked about when it comes to building a successful business on or offline. Whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, or LinkedIn, my number one goal is to make sure that you get the most value that you can. That's not pretty much being given online the way that I think that it should. So today we're talking about a topic I think is important for us to talk about, and it is why selling courses is dead. I don't know if it is dead or are dead. I don't know, but I think it's why selling courses is dead. Grammatically correct. But the truth is, I want to talk about this, and this is somebody that can, with documentation, show you. In a 24, month span, how me and my team have sold over $15 million worth of programs, e-learning programs online, and why a lot of people who are selling courses, are not going to make as much money as they think. And why I believe the original concept of selling courses is dead. One of when it came to the Back End Podcast, it was actually inspired by my brother Knowledge Winford Perry, and I think it's important that you all know that. So when we talk about, Jake, what the hell are you talking about? Why are you telling us that selling courses are dead when so many people online are teaching us how to sell courses? And you yourself, Jake, talked about taking your expertise and putting it into e-learning programs that can allow for your clients to get cost-efficient learning that's not going to cost as much as one-on-one consultations. And my purpose for getting you to understand this is so that you can potentially see things from the perspective that I see them. And I see them from the lens of being a teacher. Well, most people don't know that I actually went to school for education. I graduated with my education degree with a 3.9 GPA from the HBCU, Wiley College. And I'm still, I guess, technically in my career now because I still kind of teach and train for a living. And one of the biggest things we learned was the importance of learning how to create and develop curriculum. Now, the most beautiful thing that we got to understand, especially when it comes to creating curriculum, when you talked about creating curriculum for your child that's in your class, the only thing that was cared about was the result of that child testing right for the state test. So whatever curriculum that we were to curate or create for our students in that year, it had to get or garner a result that will allow for the school to be able to receive credibility that it should. Now, granted, there are so many children that go through the same program that can have the same teacher, that can have the same information, and still fail or flunk or be satisfactory when it comes to passing a state test. That is true. But the result in mind is absolutely critical when it comes to us creating curriculum or us creating programs for the people who are taking your course. Now, I want you to press the number 1 if you can. If you have a course, you are thinking of creating a course, or you've been taught to develop a course. You have a course, you're creating a course, or you've been taught to develop a course. Can anybody just press the number 1? What song is that? It's the Freedom Doctor. That's an unreleased song. It's our company. We got a little company album that keep us lit in a holy way. Okay, press. Okay, cool. And we have this ever growing epidemic. We have this ever-growing epidemic of people who are creating courses, creating programs, selling their courses, and doing all this stuff without understanding. And so when I teach and when I have taught curriculum building or program creation, I teach it from the aspect of becoming a consultant that gives curriculums that allow for people to get a said or specific result. But what we have seen in the marketplace is that there are so many people that's just creating a course just for general education. Like the end result doesn't matter as much as you just getting information. And so you'll purchase a program or you'll purchase a course, and there is no system that's going to actually produce a specific result, because we're just course creators. We're not consultants. But when you look at your craft, like you're a consultant cares about the client's results. And so when it comes to developing your course or your program, the number 1 concept is for you to understand, what result is my client going to get? And how do I get them to do that? What things have to be put in place in order to give my client the best chances to get the result, that I am looking for this client to get. So when I created the private banking blueprint, and then we created the challenge, there's a couple of things that we had in mind. One, it would be more cost efficient for our clients to actually go through a curriculum program, e-learning program, that can actually teach them the basis of the system that's required in order for them to be the bank. Because here's something that's absolutely critical. Okay? There's so many people online teaching families how to be the bank. Oh, be the bank. Oh, you can be the bank. Go be the bank. But there is no system that's in place that allows for that person to understand that just buying a policy alone is not going to help you be a bank. Just getting a trust alone will not help you become the bank. Just learning how to leverage debt is not the key to becoming the bank. Just having a successful business is not the key to becoming a bank. Just having a strong family structure is not the key to teach you how to become the bank. It is the assembling of them all in a systematic way that allows for people to get a set result. So when it comes to course selling, no, course selling is dead. It's about system selling. How can I sell you a system that works and walk you through the process that will allow for you to get a said result? That's what's key. But all throughout online, what's going on, Brett? All throughout online, everybody just selling knowledge, not results. Parlay! Are they ready for this information? Are they ready for this information? Listen. We're selling knowledge, but we're not selling a result. And there's so many educators online I'm teaching you this so that you don't become that person. There are so many educators online that think that just because I give you the information that I've done my job enough. But if I'm selling you a result, that means that I have to have a systematic structure that is required in order for you to get said result that this system can produce. Question number one, if you're picking up what I'm putting down. Listen, I started class hot. But there's a lot of infomercial programs out here. Oh yeah, there's a lot of infomercial education out here. And you're getting fragmented pieces and thinking that it's the whole pot. And you wondering why you in the same situation that you were in 9 programs ago. See, there's an epidemic of high-priced infomercial courses. There's an epidemic of high-priced infomercial courses. Okay, I learned this, and so when I learn it, I'm going to create a course and I'm going to sell it to you. That's not result-driven programming. That's not result-driven programming. Because to sell a system, you must first have mastered the system before you sell it. Can I give y'all an example? So, like I said, there's a lot of people online that teach private banking now. How to be the bank. So, the reason why when I created the curriculum, it says the private banking blueprint is because originally I wrote this for my family. So that if daddy ever died, my children and my wife could take this information and go and duplicate what daddy did even though daddy is gone. That is called a playbook, a blueprint, a system. And it starts from the beginning all the way to the end. It goes from how to build your family, why your family build out is important, then understanding financial discipline and budgeting. Why? Because that's important. And then from doing that, it takes you to the next step because that's important. Not me selling a policy to you, but selling the system that the policy is a part of. But everybody online talking about you just get this policy, now you can be the bank. Bullshit. You cannot. You cannot. It is a combination of multiple variables that allow for you to become the bank, not just selling a damn policy. So in the system, there are so many people who bought my system that didn't get a policy from me because me selling a policy from my financial firm was not the intention. The intention was selling the system so they can go to anybody that they choose and get a policy because they knew what to look for and they knew how to implement it in the system of banking. Now, Jake, why are you telling me this? It's because if you're not on YouTube, you're probably gonna miss it. Y'all need to go to my YouTube if you want to see the board. But the key for us to understand this, and let me cancel that out. The key for us to understand is we gotta understand the importance of a customer journey. And so many people online are selling information because they don't have a proven system to get you from point A to point Z. So what's being sold is point A to point B, then point B to point C. And the most they can get you is to B, but they can't get you to Z because they're not selling a system. They're just selling information in pieces as they get it. So we're gonna sit on this board. We're gonna sit on this board in a second. But I wanted to set the stage to get you to understand that when you have a system, you can charge more. When you just selling basic fundamental information, that's why you have to charge less. Because a system is supposed to bring about a result. Information is just like, hey, here go information. I sold you information. You got the information. Whatever the hell you want to do with it, you do with it. That's why course selling is dead. Why? Because so many people online have been screwed because of the infomercial selling course providers online. Infomercial selling course providers online that just sell you fragmented pieces of information and not the whole pie. So they sell you in pieces and not in a system. And I tell people all the time, if you're taking my programming, our e-learning programming, and you're trying to make $1 million tomorrow, I can't help you. But if you take our e-learning programming, I can teach you how to make $1 million for the rest of your life. Now, how can I do that? Because I'm selling you the result of the system, not in trendy infomercial course selling. And if you're somebody that teaches people that, or if you're somebody that you do that, I'm not coming for anyone in particular. I'm calling a spade and a fact a fact. You cannot teach somebody private banking if they don't know how to structure a family. You cannot teach somebody private banking if they don't have a high income earning skill. Why? Because you need money to build your banking system. You cannot teach people private banking if you don't teach them how to turn their high producing income skill into a business that can produce them money over time. You cannot teach somebody private banking if they don't know how to fully protect the full thing with a trust. You cannot teach somebody private banking if they don't understand the importance of how to leverage like a bank and not like a consumer. Do y'all see what I'm getting? So there is a system, but I knew the system because I was actually already implementing it in my life. So if I'm actually implementing this in my life, I know I can't just give you no piece without the whole pie. That's why course selling is dead. And if it's not dead, it's dying. It's dying. It's dying. Question number 5, if y'all picking up what I'm putting down. Question number 5, if y'all picking up what I'm putting down. So I sold, my morning's going good, thank you. So I sold the system that came with a challenge that led to a result. It's very simple. So this is going to force people to have to actually do it first completely and then show you how to do it successfully. It's very important that we understand that. Listen, and I want you to take that if you're a consultant, if you got a product, if you're selling flour or if you're selling whatever product in a place, the question is, where am I taking this customer along the journey? That's the most important piece. Where am I taking this person? Where are we going and why? But so many of us don't know where we're going before you even know where your customer going. So what do? Because we don't even know where we're going, it's hard for us to be able to help people get to where they're going because we don't know where we're going. It's very clear and it's very evident when you look at most cases, when you look at most case studies, it's the same exact thing. Just disoriented information. Press the number 2 right now if you bought a program and the information was fucking everywhere. You was in there swag surfing like all the way turned up. You like, okay, I gotta go get this here. I gotta go get this here. Okay, they teaching you a little bit of this. What's going on, Rich? That's my bro. You want a financial advisor? Go to rich.com. He tough. They teach you in pieces here. They teaching you in pieces here. You getting fragmented pieces of information, and then they get mad when you tell them, "Hey, listen, it's all there." Yeah, you're right. It's all there based on their knowledge and their information. You got to teach an entire system. And so many people are selling courses based on ideas, not based on results and systems. What is going to get you from point A to point Z? And how do we manifest that the entire way? And the only way you can listen, y'all, let me tell y'all something. It is morally impossible for me to create any program and not teach the whole thing all the way through. Because I know that if one person gets one thing without the other, they're not going to get the next thing. They're not going to get the next result. They're not going to get the next result. They're not. So it's morally impossible and hard for me to say, "Oh, I'm just gonna give them this piece and then see what they do. Then they gotta come back." I gotta say the whole thing. That's why if anybody's ever took any of my financial e-learning programs or any of my business courses that I now sell for, that I now give away for free, I'm not selling courses anymore. I'll tell you all about that at the end if you stay. How you can get access to our free information for life. But the reason why most of my programs are 30, 36 lessons long, over 30 to 40 hours of training every single program for one concept, it's because I know that you need a system, not just ideas. Not just ideas. So, after I taught them the system, I then brought about a challenge that can enact the system in action. You can't do a challenge without a system. And although the challenge can produce results, if I was going to Coach T, if I don't have the system, I can't duplicate the results over and over again. That's what's really key. And that's what we got to understand. So we need to be more focused on system selling versus course selling. We need to be more keen on system selling versus course selling. Because if I sell a system, I can not only charge more, but more people will be more privy and loving of the program because my system is not just some black back moon course where I learned drop shipping and I don't really know the full concept of it, but I know enough to charge you $125 and give you information and that you can't. That have y'all ever felt like that? Y'all like, bro, I can get this information for free on YouTube. Has anybody ever felt that when you bought a program or you got consulting? You was like, damn, I could get this information for free on YouTube. What the hell did I buy? I can just go search this online and get this same result. The moment that you felt that and the moment that you feel that is the moment that you're true. It's the truth. You can. Because most people's information is repurposed information, not systematic information that is tried, tested, and true. You can't go get my information online. You can't find enough YouTube channels to get my system. You can't piece it together. Okay? So today, what I want to talk to us about is the importance of the customer journey. And his name is Christopher. His name is Christopher Vogler. And he created a timeline called The Hero's Journey. The Hero's Journey. Hey, can I tell y'all something real quick? Have y'all ever noticed that when we listen to some gurus and stuff online, they always talk about they mentor this and they mentor that, but they never tell you who their mentor is? Have y'all noticed that? They mentor helped them get there, but they never tell you who their mentor is. Oh yeah, I'm gonna make some motherfuckers mad today. They finna be like, Jake, boy, you old ass boy. I'm everything. I'm all of it. I'm everything. Have y'all noticed that? Have y'all noticed that? Y'all ain't noticed that? Like it's a fucking secret. Can somebody tell me why do you think that is? Can somebody tell me why do you think that is? Can anybody tell me why we think that is? Why is it that they don't tell you who their mentor is? Fear. Somebody said fear. Fear of what? One, that's right, Mr. Billionaire. One, they don't exist. Number one, they don't exist. And number two, God forbid that you find their mentor only to find out that they're copying and pasting from their mentor step by step. Ooh, Paulette, Iggy, you sure I'm supposed to be giving this information? You sure I'm supposed to give this information? Iggy said, Jake, you gotta tell the truth. I remember when I played college basketball. And my head coach, Coach Payne, we left our playbook in the locker room of our rival team. And I said, Damn, coach. I went to coach like, damn, what we gonna do? They got our plays. They got our plays, coach. Like what? Like what we gonna do? They got our plays. Like, man, they got our plays, man. We finna call a play and they gonna know the play. He said, Jacobs. I said, what, coach? He said, they can read our playbook. They can study film. But one thing they don't have is me. He said, I created those plays. I know when to do the plays and when not to. He said, Jacobs. I said, yes, Coach Payne. He said, you can have my playbook, but if you don't know when to do the play, you having the playbook means nothing. I said, ooh. He said, so somebody can take my playbook and get drastically worse results because they're not the creator of the system. I built the system off of my losses. I built the system off of my successes. I built the system off of my coaching experience. So if they don't have me, they really don't have the playbook. They just got X's and O's on the paper. That's Coach Payne. That's Coach Payne. That was Coach Payne. And I said, So when I got online, I'm like, how can somebody teach the same thing? What's up, Mom? I'm like, how can somebody teach the same thing, exactly the same information? I know where you got the information from. Most of the marketers online got their information from King Ashley Ann. Oh, I'm telling the truth. Oh, yeah. King Ashley Ann, one of the toughest marketers online. She's a female marketer online. That's my dog. They act like they support somebody just to get their information, just so that they can sell it. But what you're missing is the context of the system. You're getting it out of place. You're getting out of place. And the results of people's clients, her name is on IG, King Ashley Ann. And the results of people's clients is a drastic difference. Because it's her system. Oh my God. So what happens? Just because people got big followings, just because they connected to the right people, you think that just because they're giving the information that they're the originator of the system. But see, you got to understand the back end. See, if I understand the back end, I know for a fact, if I understand the back end, I know for a fact that if you can't get me from point A to point Z, you need to shut the hell up. And you need to point me to the person that can get me all the way through. Oh yeah. I'm telling the truth today. So when we talk about somebody said, listen, I ain't talking about nobody's system in general. Like I ain't into that half selling, back selling, cross whatever. I'm talking about the industry overall. So y'all ain't finna goddamn put me in a situation. I don't even think about these niggas. I just think about the industry. So So when we talk about Christopher Vogler in The Hero's Journey, he breaks up how movies are created in phases. Here's another thing. Hold on. Here's another thing. Red flag. If people cannot cite a specific example in their life and be able to show you the result of that example, or tell you who they got the information from as a citing source, odds are the information that they're giving you is plagiarized. I wish online people that teach, that talk, that do consulting had like ownership of a master's. Because I know for a fact there are specific examples that I used in my life that happened to me directly that someone else used as if it was there. And I'm like, bro, like that. The odds of that exact thing happening to you is bullshit. Like it just don't exist. Cause that's literally something that happened. It's called citing sources. The only thing I'm trying to get y'all to do is understand the importance of the back end. That's all I want you to do. Is understand the importance of a back end. There are people that are teaching y'all how to do specific trades that have never done it successfully. Like, what? Have you ever done that? No, but they did, so I'm going to teach it. No, how about you bring the expert in and let them teach it? Because they did it. So, when it comes to the hero's journey, there is a process that we're taking people. Our goal is to turn a client from an average, ordinary person to a hero to their family. That's the journey that we're trying to process and take people through. It's the journey. If you want to see the board, go to my YouTube, Tayler Jacobs. That's the journey. Okay? So when I am putting somebody in one of my programs, where I'm trying to get them from point A to point B, I got to. What's up, baby? I didn't call you, but since you're in here, I can take a hug and a kiss. You good? Daddy love you, girl. Okay, let me teach the people. Shut my door all the way. So, usually where they are is they're in a stage where they have limited awareness. They're not aware of their current situation. They're not aware of what's going on in life. They're not aware that there are options of bettering life. They're not aware. So right now they got limited awareness. You should be taking notes if you can. Limited awareness. Have it going down. So because they have limited awareness, they're in what's called an ordinary life. So because they have limited awareness, they're probably in an ordinary world or living an ordinary life. So someone who has a system, you don't bash the people that are in an ordinary world, living an ordinary life, because why? You know they got limited awareness. Why? Because you too had limited awareness too as well. And you understand the cause and effect of the elongating of this journey that we're on, of trying to get to the other side, which is a hard feature to do. To go from ordinary to extraordinary, that's an ever-growing battle that is hard for us to process. But if you don't have a system and you're just selling information that you have not yet mastered yourself, you don't have patience for people that have limited awareness, and probably you're the first person that they came in contact with that brought this awareness to them. One of the first persons. So because of that, your number one objective is to increase their awareness. So they go from limited awareness to increased awareness. And this will make them feel called to an adventure for change. No offense, I see so many people online, you got to produce videos and content and marketing and ads and all of this. But if you don't understand why you need to, you just going to be producing content without context. And anything that doesn't have context, they can't grasp your concept. So in order for somebody to grasp your concept, you got to help the content have context to it. They got to be able to gain true understanding. If they get true understanding, they will more emphatically buy into your concept. I hope I ain't losing nobody, because I know I'm teaching my ass off today. I know I am. You ain't got to tell me. I know I am. So they go from limited awareness. So because they have limited awareness, they're living an ordinary life. So you cannot create content or create courses that bash their limited awareness. Because you know confidence is going to need to be brewed up to get them through the toughest times of their transformation. But if you're just selling courses and not a system, you don't know that. So for an example, when we take on clients for our consulting firm, a lot of y'all just sell services. Yeah, I'm gonna just do your ass. I'm gonna do this for you. Oh yeah. I can build your website. Oh yeah. I can restructure this. I can build your sales team. How can you do that without understanding the context of the business? So all you gotta do is just give me $10,000 a month. I get some leads to your house. No. First of all, if they need you, it's because they have limited awareness of where they are. So you got to do an audit. You got to increase their awareness so they can be called to the adventure of change, because they're gonna need the awareness to understand why certain great things take some time to develop and build. But you can't keep clients because you're thriving off their limited awareness and you want to keep them in a limited space. So they're going to think ordinarily and not want to deal with you long term. So watch this. How many of you? Watch this. So what happens? This is literally what happens in movies. You can follow this concept and go watch a hero movie, and it's the same exact concept. Y'all, we living in a movie. So if you don't understand the biopic, if you don't know how to break down the movie, you cannot become the hero of your life. It's simple. So when someone has limited awareness, it's your job to increase their awareness so they can feel called to an adventure. And then what happens? Then when they feel called to an adventure, what happens? Now they're reluctant to change. So they watching your content, they watching your live. They like, man, Cousin Jake, man, he inspired me, man. He increased my awareness. Okay, I'm called to this adventure. Now I'm ready to go. But because they lack the information of the system, guess what happens? Now they become reluctant to change, and now and now what happens is, now they refuse to change. Man, I don't know. I don't know, man, I don't know. So that's why in all of my programs, not my courses, my programs, we deal with these issues first. And people will be like, Jake, man, I just want you to get to the meat. I need you to get to the meat because I just need to get the information. No, you can't just get the information if you lack the context. But if you just sell a course, you just sell the information, and you don't help people get through this first phase of an ordinary world, guess what happens? They revert back. And that's another person that paid you but don't get the result. So we go from reluctant to change. Now this is when they start overcoming. Okay, you know what? I'm going to overcome it. I'm going to overcome it. You know what? Forget it. I'm going to overcome this thing. I'm going to fight. And this is typically what happens. Watch this, y'all. This is typically what happens when they finally make the decision to trust the mentor. I wouldn't even say trust. We're going to say meet. So, okay. I'm going to meet the mentor. We're going to kind of do our thing. And the mentor's job is to help them get over this cross threshold. That's all. So now they become committing. Okay, I'm going to commit to this. And now I'm going to cross the threshold. But people who just sell courses, you don't give a damn about this stuff. You don't give a damn. Only thing you care about is selling the course to get the life you want at the expense of the people who purchased it. You want the what they call that? You want the beach life. Want the beach life. Why? How do I know that? Because that's what you sell. You sell the lifestyle, not the transformation. And because you sell the lifestyle, not the transformation, guess what happens? Guess what happens? Guess what happens? When you sell the lifestyle and not the information, guess what happens? That's why you, as an educator or consultant, matter of fact, I want all of you all to consider yourself, if that's the industry you're going to get into, consider yourself a consultant. You have a consulting firm. You have an obligation to try to help your clients get to their desired results from your system. From your system. So with that being in mind, you actually give a damn about their experience. You care about their experience. These are lessons that I've learned along the way. If I buy into the course selling, jet flying, on my own lifestyle, I start caring less about the client and more about the fattening of my pockets. So my experience that I give the client to help them on their hero journey, I don't invest into that because I'm taking the money and I'm funding my lifestyle just to keep onboarding people and not caring about the result of the client. That's why course selling is dead. You got to be committed to developing a system that can help people get results. Because let me tell you what happens. If we keep allowing this whole course selling epidemic without accountability, that's what's going to happen. People will stop trusting learning. People will stop trusting learning. If you're just now getting on here, if you stay to the end, I'm going to tell you exactly how you'll be able to get me and my team's programs for free for the rest of your life. Nope. We don't charge for programs or courses anymore. Got to stay to the end to find out how. So it's a journey that you're taking people on. That's what's most important. So as you're taking people on this journey, you got to have things in place that can aid them along the way of the journey. After they get past this threshold, they're in now the second phase of their development. And the only way you would know that, somebody said, since I met you, I've learned way more than school. Teach me. And the only way you would know that is if you've been in their shoes. See, I'm able to tell if a person's actually been in someone's shoes based on how they treat the client or the customer when they're having troubling and struggling times. Yeah. See, I started my business with $100, 7 napkins, no car, and my granddad's his extra room, smelling like mothballs. That's when I started my company. So I can take myself back to the fear it must feel for people to have their last, to pay for a program, a training, a consulting, a course, only to get fragmented information and the course provider says, but I gave you the information. No refund. I gave you the information. It's up to you to tie it together. Like what? You showed me your result of life. That's why I bought your course. So my expectation, of course, is not that I'm going to end up where you are now. But I should see some result if I go through the program and I implement it. If you are who you say that you are, I should see that result. I should see it. That's why a lot of course creators are trendy. A lot of course creators are trendy. They teaching something new every 2 quarters, every 3 to 6 months. Every 3 to 6 months. They teaching something new. Yeah. Y'all ain't never wondered that? Y'all never wondered that? You teaching me something new every 3 to 6 months. Because they ain't figured it out. So as they cross the threshold, experimenting happens here. They cross that threshold, they learn that new information, and because you don't know what opposition they're going to face, it'd be so funny because the most common opposition that most of these gurus say, family gonna hate on you, your friends gonna hate on you, and you just gotta put yourself in the right environment and it'll be good. What in the hell? That ain't no motherfucking-zition. That ain't no enemy. That ain't no test. What family member wouldn't want to help a winner? That ain't opposition. Opposition is industry specific. I'm gonna show y'all something real quick. Am I for my financial firm? This is what you call a system. All of my advisors had to go through and learn my system. My system for my advisors was a 3-month learning process. If you're on IG right now, you may want to migrate to my YouTube. Go to Tayler Jacobs on YouTube because I'm over there right now. Y'all only got 1 minute and 9 seconds before this cuts off. I'm telling you now, you got 1 minute and 9 seconds before this cuts off. So you may want to go to my YouTube, Tayler Jacobs on YouTube, to get the rest of this information. So YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. It took 12 weeks to learn my system. And did you know? I never tell them, hey, your only opposition is going. No, I tell them real opposition. Your first 3 to 9 months, you're going to get your ass handed to you financially. Clients, it's going to be hard for you to get a client because you haven't won anything over. I tell them a real opposite, and then I tell them how to overcome it. What strategies to implement to overcome trying times. I like what Gillette said. You can't teach somebody something you don't know. So because a lot of people create courses and they don't know real opposition, they stay surface level versus industry specific. You stay surface level. I told my advisors, this is a 12-week program. And it's still going to take you 3 months to 9 months to truly be able to feel comfortable with the implementation of the system. So they already knew offhand. Okay, shit, okay. All right, it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time. Why? Because I told them the real. Who was my 12:30? Who? Oh, he canceled. He canceled this morning. Thank you, Mom. But if I lack context because I never implemented, I can't advise somebody on something I never done. So I couldn't tell somebody how to make $30,000 a month without social media unless I did it. I did that at 26. I couldn't tell somebody how to build a multi-million-dollar business online if I never did it. But there's so many programs and courses that's like, yo, you made $10,000 one time. Now you telling people how to make $10,000 a month. When you never did it a month, you did it one time. So you can't tell them how to overcome opposition to keep that monthly income up because you've never done it yourself. Question number 5 if you're picking up what I'm putting down. Question number 5 if you're picking up what I'm putting down. Why is this important for you to be able to have a system? If somebody can only give you surface level gain, they don't have depth experience to get you through your test, to understand who an enemy is and who an ally is. Juanita Ford, you know what I tell people all the time? You can't talk to me about business unless I know you got some war wounds. If you're somebody that has never lost, you're somebody that I can never trust. You ain't a millionaire until you lose $1 million and get it back. You ain't a millionaire until you make $1 million in multiple industries. You can't give anyone substance, knowledge, information because you haven't experienced it. I like to give the example. I like to give an example. It's kind of like going to church, right? It's kind of like going to church. And you got that young teenager. And that young brother can teach a fiery word. Oh, he got all the gifts. He can sing, he can hoop, he can holler, he can use examples. But that young brother can only use examples that he has heard or seen, not examples that he's felt. Not examples that he's experienced. So that's why there's a bunch of copycat even in the church. You ain't got no experience. I would go to that young brother and say, hey man, keep it up. But I would never join his church. Because I need the depth of understanding. How when you slipped up and you felt like there was no way, you had $0 to your name, no credit, nobody can lend you money. I need to know what exact steps did you do to get from me here to here. But if there are too many gray areas in somebody's process to their success, I can't trust it. Why are there so many holes, so many gray areas? So in 2012, okay, it's 2022, okay, there's a gap of 2 years. What happened? Oh. Or they'll say, I've been quietly working on this for a couple of years and now I'm bringing it to the market. Where's proof of that? Where's proof that you were trying to actually master this? And you've been working on it, this specific thing, for 2 years. Where's proof? When I tell people that we've been working on our technology for 24 months before we brought it to the marketplace, we have transactional proof. When I tell people I was making $30,000 a month at 26, I got proof. When I tell people I was one of the first people to ever start teaching private banking on social media, that's recorded. It's on Facebook. There's proof. There's proof. So, when we are talking about creating a course, we're not selling courses. We're selling program systems. We're selling systems. So that means that if your program cannot help somebody that is poor with $100, $200 to their name, you shouldn't be selling your program to somebody that's limited on capital and resources. You should sell it to people who are ready for whatever stage and system that you are putting them on. This brings about integrity of your brand. You don't have to keep changing it and watering it down. So what happens when people are going on this journey? They're trying to figure out life. They start experimenting on the new system and the new stuff that you taught them. And then for the first time, they get tested by their real enemies and then have to find who their allies are going to be. Who's going to help them along the way? Then they start preparing for something big that's about to happen. Then now they approach their innermost cave. They approach their innermost cave. They're preparing. They feel a stirring. They feel a change, but they're not fully there yet. Now an ordeal happens. It's required them to make a big change. And because of that, now there are consequences. And they finally overcome that first thing and get a reward. But how many of you know that right when it feels like the superhero in the movie got it figured out, they winning, things are going well? How many of you know the story doesn't end there? Press the number 1 if you know the story doesn't end there. Press the number 1 if you know that. That the story, it don't end there. This is what I'm going on, y'all, so y'all can see it. The story don't end there. Take a screenshot, take a screenshot, take a screenshot. Take a screenshot. Let me click done when you finished it. Take a screenshot. Comment done when you've done it. This is why if you're creating a program or a system and you're just selling the course and you're just selling the highlight of it all, that ain't the system. Because a system is supposed to be able to help you get through both the success and get through trying times Because that's the result of the system. Am I right? That's the result of the system. So right when it looks like the hero got the girl, the hero got the sword, the hero picked up his cape, the hero finally is coming into themselves, what always happens right after that? Can anyone tell me? What always happens right after that? Right after the hero finally got it figured out. What always happens? Can anyone tell me? What always happens? Test. Adversity. Complacency. Struggle. An inner fight. It's called you're dealing with the consequence and you hit a roadblock. And this last roadblock is absolutely critical. And let me tell y'all something. I'm just going to be quite frank and quite honest with y'all. I love to see how people are when it seems like everything is hitting the fan. That lets me know who they really are on the inside. Yeah. Who they are on the real side. Yeah, man, you're going to start this business, man. It's going to be popping. Once you get it up, you're going to be making like $10,000, $20,000 a month. And then after you make $10,000, $20,000 a month, then you're going to be set up to go ahead and do this. And then from making $10,000, $20,000 a month, when you set up and you can do this, oh yeah, you're going to be popping in. Now they selling you the dream, but never told you about the nightmare. I want y'all to write this down. And I want to be very clear. I want y'all to write this down. And I want to be very clear. Just because y'all writing this down, I can't tell. Y'all stop talking to me. Am I talking to myself? I was going to talk to myself. I might as well stay talking to myself. Just because you can make the payment doesn't mean you can afford the cost. Just because you can make the payment, it does not mean you can afford the cost. Just because you can make the payment, it does not mean that you can afford the cost. Prime example is everybody want a mansion, and they sell you on the idea of a mansion. You can even make the payments on a mortgage, but you forgot the cost of the maintaining of the taxes. You forgot the cost. Of the electricity bill. And at this intersection of success and happiness, the hero finds out the true cost. Yeah. See, my Rolls Royce, I hit a pot, like a pothole. I hit a pothole in my little R. Y'all know the R that's on the Rolls Royce? My little R popped off. Dakir said, we sneaking at work to watch you. Keep going. I hit a pothole in my Rolls Royce. And I'm like, damn, I can't find a little R. So I'm going to go back to Rolls Royce and I'm going to ask them, can they just put an R on? It should be number $50. It was $400 just to put the little hubcap top on. I say, damn. Glad I can afford the cost of that. I said, I want to go get an oil change for my Rolls Royce. So I took it back to the Rolls Royce dealer, and it was $1,250 just for the oil change. See, if you're taking a course or a program, or if you're providing a course in a program, and you're showing people the good of it all, but not letting them know the cost of the fall, you are not doing the right thing. Because when you teach a system, a programmatic system, you gotta teach them the cost as well as the price. See, the price is they can afford to get in your program, but they can't afford the cost of actually implementing what the program talks about. So if I take $10,000 from you for the price of the program, but the cost of truly building your business is $40,000, I've robbed you. Because I didn't tell you the cost before you paid the price. I didn't tell you the cost before you paid the price. So if anybody is advising you, giving you advice, mentoring you, you're paying them for consulting, you're paying them for training, you're paying them for the mastermind, you're paying them for the courses. If they only tell you the price but not the cost, you need to run. And so on a hero journey, There's a cost. See, they always tell you, you know, when you become successful, you're gonna be by yourself. That's not telling the cost. The cost is the reason that you're gonna be by yourself is because you gotta understand that when you make a certain amount of money, people are going to expect that you pay for everything. So when you want to go to nice places that you feel like you deserve, and people that come with you expect you to pay for everything, you're going to be paying 5 to 8 times more on something every time. And eventually that's going to catch up to you. So the cost is I got to separate from whoever it is, not because I don't love them, but because I can't afford to keep them up in me too. See, that's the cost. And the cost is they may not understand that. They may think that I'm different or that I'm changing. But it's truly me deciding to love me more than them. See, that's the cost of success. Bro said, nothing but facts. Keep speaking the truth. Appreciate that. That's the cost. See, they don't tell you the cost. They say you can drive a nice car. You can do all of this, but they didn't tell you that you spending 14, 15, 16 hours a day at work. 6, 7 days throughout the week. So you already away from home. But you working and you sacrificing. So you need some me time. So then you go do some me time, but it causes conflict in your crib. Your partner like, man, you been going all day. You're like, bro, I've been working. Then you sacrifice your family for the dream. Say, tell you the price, but they don't tell you the cost. See, the price is you pay this price, you build your wealth, you build on social media, your following go up. But the cost is you don't know who really your friends are not. That's the cost. Okay, you got to show testimonials. You got to show testimonials, show people that you made it. Okay, that's the price. I'm willing to pay that shit. If I can make them out, pay. But the cost is, now that people know how much money you make, you're going to get tried. So when you're looking at trying to purchase a course, stop just buying a course for information. Go read a fucking book. Go on YouTube. Go on YouTube or something. But when you decide to pay somebody for their information, make sure they're telling you the cost too. Because if you can pay the price, and you can accept the cost, you can enjoy the blessing. If you can pay the price and accept the cost, you can enjoy the blessing. So I paid the price for the rose, but I can afford the cost of the maintenance. Oh, what a joy. But when you can only afford the price, because pay the cost. You can't take the cost. You're going to be in a catch 22. So the purpose of the Back End Podcast is to start getting you to look on the other side of the shiny objects that's online. Shiny objects. I want you to see the other side of it. Man, I want to build a big team. I want to hire staff. Okay. What happens when your payroll 6 figures a month? The company goes in a downturn, which is called a trough. You're going through a recession. You hit a trough. Every business goes through this. And all the stuff that you purchased, now you got to sell it in order to pay payroll. To keep your company afloat. Can you afford that cost? That's what I did. The same Rolls Royce I was telling you about, the same Rolls Royce I had to sell to pay payroll. I did buy cash. Can you afford that cost? So understanding the hero journey will be what makes or breaks you. It'll be what changes your life or cripples you forever. But you got to make that decision. Some of y'all that stayed to the end, I have a treat for you. Me and our team here at BizCo have made the vow that we will never charge for courses or e-learning programs ever again. So if you go to bizcoclass.com, and register to get on our list. This Friday, we'll be having like a master classy type thing to tell you why we decided not to do that and how you can get access to all of our live trainings, all of our old trainings, all of our past trainings, and all of our future trainings for free. To infinity and beyond. If you go to bizcoclass.com, you can register. Because if you thought this information is good, just imagine when we teach you our system. Just imagine when we teach you our system. bizcoclass.com. Go put your real email information on there. And you can find out how and why we are going to be teaching, give you access to programs and e-learning in our system for free. bizcoclass.com. Other than that, good luck out here in these course selling streets. Somebody said, does that include the advisor training? Absolutely. Every training and program that I've ever created will be free. Now, our curriculum, of course, you know you have to pay for curriculum, right? Like, our curriculums, you know you have to pay for that. But as far as our e-learning and our trainings, they'll be free. Absolutely free. Because our number one goal is to bring value to you as a business owner, to help you thrive, to help you succeed, to help you grow. And as far as us and our company, we're going to do whatever we can to help you get there. So bizcoclass.com, get on the list, because Friday we will be having, I guess, an overview on how you can actually get yourself free education for as long as you need it. This is Dr. Tayler Jacobs. This is the second episode of the Back End Podcast.